Let's go ahead and talk about the November 5th, 2025 episode of AEW Dynamite. So yeah, we kick off the show with Tony Schiavone. He is standing inside the ring and, he's getting ready for an interview and all that stuff. But then he gets interrupted by the AEW Trios Tag Team Champions, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata, the Ops. The Ops comes out there and Samoa Joe got a problem with Tony Schiavone because he believes that Tony Schiavone has something to do with what happened last week where he got attacked from Hangman Adam Page, where Adam Page was dressed up as Tony Schiavone. So yeah, that's what Samoa Joe has an issue about. And then all of a sudden, when they all three got up on the ring apron, about to get into the ring to attack Tony Schiavone, a bunch of security comes running down there, and Samoa Joe was talking about how, Tony Schiavone should deal with this problem by himself, but now he's going to get a lot more people hurt. And then all of a sudden, that's when we see the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Hangman Adam Page come running down there, making the save. He gets into the ring, and then, they was talking about how Samoa Joe was talking about how they can handle two problems now easily. And they was about to get into the ring up until we see Eddie Kingston and Hook come running down there, and quickly the Ops got down. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then Adam Page was talking about how he's going to be dealing with Samoa Joe tonight, and how he's definitely going to be dealing with him at Full Gear and retaining the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, that's what Hangman was saying there. And then Hook was pretty much wanting to challenge the Ops for the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships, calling him scared and all that stuff. And then Samoa Joe starts getting frustrated, and then he accepts the challenge. So yeah, then the match got made official, where later on tonight in the main event will be the Ops defending the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships up against Hangman Adam Page, Eddie Kingston, and Hook in a 6-man tag team match later on tonight. So yeah, that match has now been set up for the main event. But yeah, up next it'll be Orange Cassidy versus Claudio Castagnoli in an advantage match up next on Dynamite. So yeah, that match will be up next, and later on tonight we're going to be seeing the first rounds in the Women's Tag Team Championship tournaments and much more. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, we get to the first match of the night. It was Claudio Castagnoli versus Orange Cassidy in the advantage match. So yeah, that's what we get to this match right here. And this match, it was a pretty good one. It was back and forth between these two guys. Orange Cassidy was trying to do everything that he could do to try to take down Claudio. Claudio was trying to do the same thing. At one point, we actually see Orange Cassidy at the ending try the orange punch, but then Claudio counters that and prevents that from happening. But then he tosses Orange Cassidy up in the air, trying that European uppercut onto Cassidy, but then Cassidy came down with a orange punch onto Claudio. Claudio's still standing, and then he tries to hit another orange punch onto Claudio again, but then this time Claudio tosses him up in the air, hitting that European uppercut onto Orange Cassidy, and then he pins Orange Cassidy for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Claudio Castagnoli defeated Orange Cassidy tonight in a 1-on-1 match. That's what happened there. Later on tonight, we're going to be seeing Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia. If Daniel Garcia wins that match, the Death Riders gets an advantage. But then if Darby Allin wins that match, that means they're going to be having a third match where it'll be Jon Moxley versus Roderick Strong on Collision. So yeah, that's what this is all about. But yeah, for that match between Claudio and Orange, I'll give it 3.5 stars as well. I'll give it was a pretty good one. But then after that match, we see Renee Paquette backstage. She is interviewing Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis. And yeah, Mark Briscoe wants to go after the TNT Championship and everything. And then Don Callis was like alluding to something, talking about how Mark Briscoe can get the TNT title match. But then he says that, if Mark Briscoe loses that match, he gets to join the Don Callis family. And then Mark Briscoe agrees. So yeah, it looks like Mark Briscoe will be facing Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship at Full Gear. If Mark Briscoe loses, he'll be leaving the conglomeration and joining the Don Callis family. So yeah, that's the stipulation for that match now. But yeah, that's what happened there. And up next, we're going to be seeing Mercedes Moné teaming up with Athena versus Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron in a tag team match in the first round of the Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament up next on Dynamite. So yeah, that match will be up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, we get to the next match of the night. It was the TBS champion Mercedes Moné and the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena versus Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron in a tag team match in the first round of the AEW Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament. So yeah, we'll get to this match. This match, it was a pretty good one. Before we talk about this match, there was a backstage segment actually, with the Young Bucks getting interviewed by Renee Paquette, and the Don Callis family was with them, and Don Callis was trying to get the Young Bucks to join them as well, to join the Don Callis family, and they said they gotta think about it, and then Don Callis was like, well, here, let me bring Okada up, and Okada comes up and he says, don't be taking too long to think about it. So yeah, that's what happened there. But they're in $1 million 6-man tag team match at Full Gear. But yeah, that's what's going on there. But yeah, we get to this tag team match, like I said. In this match, it was a pretty good one. It was back and forth and everything between both of these teams. At one point, Mercedes lock on the statement maker onto Harley Cameron. It looks like she's about to tap out, but then we see Willow Nightingale hitting the pounce onto Athena, and Athena lands onto Mercedes, breaking up the submission and everything. And then during this match, we actually see Billy Starks come running down there to try to give Athena the title, to use the title on Harley Cameron and all them. And then all of a sudden, that's when we see the AEW Women's World Champion, Chris Statlander. She comes running down there, taking out Billy Starks, clotheslining her outside the ring, and she starts chasing after Mercedes outside the ring. And while all that stuff is going down, we see Athena having the women's title in her hands, the ROH Women's Championship, and then she gets hit with the gut wrench powerbomb by Willow Nightingale, and then that's when Harley Cameron hits her finish move. It looks like the Crossroads into like a DDT type move onto Athena, and then she pins her for the 3 count. So yeah, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale defeated Mercedes Moné and Athena tonight in a tag team match, and they advanced to the semifinals in the Tag Team Championship Tournament. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good match though between both of those teams. For that match, I'll give it 3.5 stars as well. I'll give it pretty good match. But yeah, still a lot more stuff to come later on tonight on AEW Dynamite. The AEW Trios Tag Team Championships will be defended in the main event. And not only that, we're going to be seeing Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia one-on-one as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite, we get to the next segment of the night where we see Tony Schiavone. He is standing inside the ring and he introduces Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP, the Hurt Syndicate. So yeah, they come out there, and apparently the news is that there's going to be a Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal that'll be happening at Full Gear, and the winner of that match will be the inaugural AEW National Champion. So yeah, apparently they got a new title coming to AEW, and that's what's going on, and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin is the first people to be in that match. So yeah, that's what Tony Schiavone was saying there, and it was talking about how either way, even though they'll probably be against each other, maybe, they said that it's nothing but business, and that's what's going to be happening. They said that they're going to bring the AEW National Championship to the Hurt Syndicate, and they said so many people has held the title as well, such as Dusty Rhodes and, so many others. So yeah, that's what MVP was saying there. But then again, interrupted by Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. They come out there, and Ricochet starts talking about how he's going to be in this match, how he's going to win the AEW National Championship, and he was talking about the Hurt Syndicate, talking about how they are and everything, and then the Hurt Syndicate was talking about how they like to hurt people and they want to hurt Ricochet in the Gates of Agony, and then that's what he was saying there, and then Ricochet was talking about how they ain't going to be doing nothing, pretty much. So yeah, that's what happened there. But yeah, that match will be at Full Gear. But yeah, then after that we see Jack Perry and Luchasaurus Jurassic Express walking around backstage, and Jack Perry was cutting a promo while he was walking, talking about how the Young Bucks needs money and everything. He lays a $100 bill down on the table, and he puts a knife onto the $100 bill, and then Jack Perry walks away, and then Luchasaurus like he's about to take it, but then Jack Perry says, come on now. So yeah, that's what happened there, and Luchasaurus walks away. But yeah, up next will be Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia, one-on-one in an advantage match, up next on AEW Dynamite. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite, we get to the next match of the night. It was Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia one-on-one, and this is an advantage match. If Darby Allin wins, this is going to be a third match between Jon Moxley and Roderick Strong on Collision But if Daniel Garcia wins, that match don't gotta happen. So yeah, that's what this match is all about. And yeah, we get to this match, and this match, it was a pretty good one. It was back and forth and everything. At one point, Pac interferes in this match, causing Darby Allin to bleed on the back of the head and everything. And then Darby barely made it back into the ring by the count of 9. But yeah, the referee was distracted by Daniel Garcia, and that's when Pac attacked Darby Allin. After all that stuff, we see Daniel Garcia locking on the Dragon's Hammer onto Darby, and then Darby actually manages to fight out of it, rolling through, locking on the Scorpion Deathlock onto Daniel Garcia, making him tap out. So yeah, Darby Allin defeated Daniel Garcia tonight in a one-on-one match. And yeah, that third match will be happening on Collision now between Jon Moxley and Roderick Strong. But yeah, for that match between Darby Allin and Daniel Garcia, I'll give it 3.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good one. But then after the match ended, we see the Death Riders coming in there, attacking Darby Allin like Pac, Claudio, Castagnoli, and so many others. Orange Cassidy was down there brawling. Jon Moxley was. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Everybody was brawling. Mark Briscoe was nowhere to be found. And it looked like the Death Riders was about to take out Kyle O'Reilly because we seen Claudio hit the neutralizer onto Darby, and then Pac hitting a tombstone power driver onto Orange Cassidy, taking him out, and it looks like the Death Riders about to take out Kyle O'Reilly up until Roderick Strong comes in there, hitting a jumping knee to the face onto Jon Moxley, taking him out and saving Kyle O'Reilly. So yeah, that's wiping there. Pretty good stuff there. But up next, we're going to be hearing from FTR up next on Dynamite. So yeah, that'll be the next segment of the night, and then we're going to get to the main event for the Trios Tag Team Championships. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Dynamite. See you guys later. Till then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite, we get to the next segment of the night where we see Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR, they come out there to the ring. Stokely Hathaway's not with them, and FTR grabs the mic and they started cutting a promo, and they was talking about how they would be 3-time AEW World Tag Team Champions if it wasn't for Brodito in London. So yeah, that's what they was talking about there, and how they was starting to call out Brodito before their match at Full Gear. So yeah, that's what FTR is doing there. And then we see backstage that Renee Paquette goes up to Brodito's locker room door, and we see Stokely Hathaway there, and apparently they are locked inside their locker room. So yeah, that's what's going on there, and Stokely is saying, "Come on out, Brodito, you need to come out." So yeah, that's what's going on there. And then FTR actually pulls their focus on Bandito's family at ringside, his grandma and his brothers there, and yeah, they was talking to them, and then Bandito's grandma slapped Dax, and then that's when Bandito's brother comes up, going at it with FTR, brawling with them outside the ring, and they go inside the ring going at it and everything. FTR is beating them down 2-on-1 and all that stuff, and then while that's going down, we actually see Brody King actually punching a hole through the door. It scares the hell out of Stokely. Stokely starts running away, and Brodito got out of the locker room as well, and they started chasing after him. Stokely comes running out there when FTR is about to hit a spike power driver onto Bandito's brother, but then they notice Stokely running down there, so they actually drop Bandito's brother down, not hitting him with the power driver, because they see Brodito come running down there making the save, and they chased out FTR. So yeah, that's wiping there. Pretty good segment though. But yeah, up next it'll be Mina Shirakawa versus Megan Bayne, 1-on-1 up next on Dynamite. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite, we get to the next match of the night. It was Megan Bayne with Penelope Ford at ringside versus Mina Shirakawa 1-on-1. Toni Storm was on commentary for this match, and this match, it was going pretty decently for the most part. It was back and forth and everything between these two women. Bunch of spots in this one, like a suplex on the ring apron and stuff like that. But then we start getting towards the ending of this match, where all of a sudden we see Marina Shafir coming through the crowd, grabbing Toni Storm with a sleeper hold, and Toni Storm had a fight out of that, and both women's brawling at the timekeeper's area, and that's what distracts Mina Shirakawa. She turns around, she gets hit with a diving, jumping clothesline by Megan Bayne, and then that's when Megan picks up Mina, hitting a running power bomb onto her, pinning her for the 3 count. So yeah, Megan Bayne defeated Mina Shirakawa tonight in a 1-on-1 match, but then after the match ended, we see Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa getting beaten down by Tekla, Julia Hart, and sky blue, and yeah, then we started seeing a bunch of other women come running down there, like Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron and so many others, and then we see Mercedes Moné acting like she was going to run down there, but she comes to a complete stop up until Chris Statlander comes out there laying out Mercedes by hitting her from behind, and then she gets into the ring, helping out the rest of the women and chasing out Megan Bayne and the rest of the women out of the ring. So yeah, then we see Chris Statlander, Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Willow Nightingale, and Harley Cameron standing tall inside the ring. So yeah, that's what happened there. For the match, what happened after the match, I'll give it all 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. But yeah, that's what happened there. And up next, it'll be the main event. We're going to be seeing the Ops defending the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships up against Eddie Kingston, Hook, and the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Hangman Adam Page up next in the main event of AEW Dynamite in a 6-man tag team match. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, we get to the main event. It was the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Hangman Adam Page, Eddie Kingston, and Hook versus the AEW Trios Tag Team Champions Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata, the Ops, in a 6-man tag team match for the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships in the main event of AEW Dynamite tonight. So yeah, we get to this match. In this match, it was a pretty good 6-man tag match. It was back and forth and everything between all these guys right here. At one point, we actually see Powerhouse Hobbs and Adam Page going at it on the stage, on the ramp and everything. And then at one point, we actually see Powerhouse Hobbs grabbing onto Hangman, picking him up, and then he hits a World's Strongest Slam onto Adam Page off the stage through a table, laying him out. And then at one point at the ending of this match, we see Eddie Kingston getting held down by Samoa Joe, and Eddie Kingston was forced to watch Hook getting hit with the torture rack by Powerhouse Hobbs and making Hook tap out. So yeah, the Ops defeated Hangman Adam Page, Eddie Kingston, and Hook tonight in the 6-man tag team match to retain the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships. That's what happened there. It was a pretty good match. For that match, I'll give it 3.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was pretty good. For match of the night, probably would say it was Orange Cassidy versus Claudio Castagnoli. So yeah, I'll probably say that was match of the night. But yeah, for tonight's AEW Dynamite, I'll give it 7.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty decent show. But yeah, that was AEW Dynamite. Yeah, like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris McDaniels, and follow me on all my social media accounts. I'll be down there in the description box. And yeah, that has been my AEW Dynamite reviews. I'll be talking about Friday Night SmackDown this Friday, and much more. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then.